Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. And I'm excited to welcome you to yet another promising edition on the of the Forex Morning Mastery with Sheriff Daramola. Um, I'm so sorry. The session started a little bit later than expected, and in fact, I must confess that I have been struggling with the internet connectivity here, and I've been trying to switch from one router to the other. I guess it's because of the rainfall that happened during the midnight, and I'm still hoping that this will work as we continue with the session. So that was why I was a little bit late, and so let's see how this will work out for today. All right. So let's hope that things will work out as expected. So I'm excited to welcome you all to yet another promising edition of the Forex Morning Mastery, as we are going to be taking another fresh new look at the financial market today. Well, the last 24 hours has been very interesting, I would say, as for those who have been monitoring, who have been with us since in the last 24 hours, we saw a little bit of bearish movement against the US dollar, and later on we begin to see some momentum in favor of the US dollar. So we've really had a mixed reaction in the last 24 hours. So we are going to be looking at the chart today to see how we are going to be deliberating or managing our position on that one. Unfortunately, we had our first stop loss for the week on the XAUUSD yesterday, where we were expecting a bullish momentum within that potential buy zone we identified. But as you will see, sellers came in, took us out of that position, and we are going to be looking at that chart to see how we intend to manage that position on that one. Then on the USD JPY price went back into break even. The same thing with the GBP USD as well. Before we go into the details here, I would like to confirm that you can hear me clearly and you can see me by letting me know in the comment section, as this will make me know that we are all on the same page, and if it is necessary for me to do any adjustment whatsoever, I will be able to do that with your feedbacks. And for those who are joining us for the first time, you are highly welcome on board. And you might be asking, what is it that happens here? Well, we as technical traders, we come together on a daily basis in anticipation of both the London and the New York session, where we come to review our position if we have anyone running, see how we manage our position, while we also strategically position ourselves ahead of the London and the New York session. So this happens on a daily basis, 8:05 a.m. UTC, and I encourage you to stay tuned in and of course be part of the subsequent editions, as the most time you spend with us, the better you get in understanding how this works, and eventually be able to use the information you have gathered here to make your own independent trading decisions. So that is that. So I welcome you all once again. So I'm still trying to sort out my sound here. The application is not loading up for me to make some adjustment to the sound. I really need to see some feedbacks in the comment section to know that we are on the same page here. So I think I see some comments here from Oteraf. Good morning, Oteraf. Good morning, Princess Abulokwe. Thank you very much. Richard Blackett, thank you very much for that feedback. Richard Blackett says the sound is quite okay. So let me take it as that and continue with the session as it is. All right. So in preparation for today, I have conducted a comprehensive analysis using simple parameters such as trend lines, key levels, and chart patterns to gain valuable insight into the historical price movement of all of the assets on our watch list for this week. And for this week, we are monitoring three major assets, which includes the GBPUSD, the USD JPY, and of course the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you must have gotten an update on how we are going to be managing our positions for today. But before we go into that detail, you know how we do it. The first thing we want to be doing is to check on the economic calendar. And for those who have been with me for a while now, you know how important this event is, as these fundamental factors often manifest on the charts in technical patterns and price movement. By monitoring the economic calendar, we can identify potential correlations between key economic releases and of course specific technical patterns on the chart, hereby giving us valuable information that can make us position ourselves in such a way that we can capitalize on any potential opportunity prior, during, and even after the event. So on the economic calendar, we do focus on high impact event coming in from the economies that affect the assets on our watch list. Now for today, Tuesday, September 12th, we have three high impact events from the United Kingdom, of course, and this is more of data for the labor sector, which of course wasn't that promising, as you will see that the data all came in below expectation. Now if you look at the employment change data here, it came in about minus 207,000 against the consensus of minus 185,000. It shows that it's not a pretty good data that is. So we saw some bearish traction as the market reacted negatively to that effect. So we're still going to be looking at how the market will play out today. Then the higher low unemployment rate too also came in higher than the previous month. And for those who don't know what the higher low unemployment rate is, this is a number. This is the number that indicates it's an indication of the number of unemployed workers divided by the total civilian labor force, and it's a leading indicator in the United Kingdom economy. And if the rate is up, it indicates a lack of expansion in the United Kingdom's labor data. And in fact, the rate is, though it's just as expected, but it's a little bit higher than the previous data, which doesn't make it look promising for that economy. So these are the high impact events we are looking forward to today, and it has already happened about 2 or 3 hours ago. So what we are going to be doing as technical traders here is to see how the market participants are reacting to this event. So with that being said here, let's dive right into the chart. Now I would like us to also take note that we have another high impact event coming in from the United States economic docket tomorrow, and that's the consumer price index, another key indicator of inflation in the economy. So this also should be considered too, as well, as participants in the market will be anticipating this event. And of course, we know that the anticipation of this event alone is enough to drive price movement, and of course this would reflect on the chart as price action. So we are going to be taking that into consideration while we review the current market structure. So thank you very much, Princess Abulokwe. I saw your comment. So the first asset we are going to be taking on today is going to be, which one are we taking first? I think it's the, okay. So we are going to be taking the GBP USD first of all. Now, on the GBP USD, quite an interesting scenario we have here on the GBP USD. Remember, we had a buy position yesterday. We had price come back to retest the 1.25 area, where I said we shall be looking out for buying opportunity. And of course, price moved about, how many pips was that from that zone? Price moved about 40-45 pips thereabout. And of course, if you had moved your stop losses accordingly, you must have been taken out of that buy position at this point in time. And during my in my commentary this morning as regards to the GBPUSD, let's run through that quickly. So this morning I made mention here that all trades have been closed. I said all buy positions have been closed due to selling pressure that resumed around the 1.25300 area. And today's UK employment data proved disappointing, falling short of expectations and revealing a less than robust labor market. This initial data reaction has been bearish, but the key question is whether this downtrend momentum will persist. To navigate this market structure today, we'll rely on specified levels on the chart for guidance. However, it is crucial to remember yesterday's live session where we, of course, highlighted the potentials for bullish momentum upon retesting the descending trend line we identified on the 1 hour time frame. Now let's go back into the live chart and see what we are talking about here. So the week started on a bullish momentum. Remember, we talked about how price started at around the 24620 level. That was yesterday, and we saw this impulsive move that led to the breakout of that descending trend line we spotted here yesterday. And one of the things we said here yesterday is that since price has broken out of the structure, we already have a breakout of a significant structure like the descending trend line here and of course the 1.2500 mark. From a technical standpoint, we expect that at some point in time price is likely going to come back and retest the structure, which of course was one of the conditions we talked about here yesterday. Retest that as descending trend line to inside an uptrend continuation. Now, if we look at what has been going on in this market in the last 24 hours, though the week started on a bullish note, but one thing for sure that is observed here is how the 1.25300 area became a barrier for buyers in this market. As you will see that as soon as price got into that level, buyers found it difficult to break through that structure, and as a result of that, it was a signal of selling pressure that pushed price to take us out of that our buy position. Now the question now is, how far will this bearish momentum go? Is it going to turn out to be a retracement that will test the descending trend line in anticipation of the uptrend continuation, or will it turn out to be an outright sell-off? Now, for us to decide this, we're going to be listening to the current market structure using our levels that we've identified here. Now, if you look at the structure at this point, we have price broken down the 1.25 and the 1.2490 area. Now, if we consider the strong bearish momentum in the last couple of weeks and with the selling pressure we noticed around the 1.253, leading to the breakdown of this 1.24940 and the 1.25 area. Now, are we going to be seeing selling opportunities, something like price coming back to retest the structure to incite a sell-off back into the zone, which will dovetail into about how many pips? That about 50 pips, that is, and I'm of the opinion that we might want to be taking advantage of that opportunity as well if price comes back to retest that structure. Now, if price comes back to retest, we want to be looking out for selling pressure around this area on our lower time frame to give us signals that sellers are still very strong at that point. Then we can join that bearish move all the way to the downside. But there is a caveat to these expectations here. Now, if price action drops below, retest that area and continues to drop to the downside, as soon as price gets into this area between the 1.24620 and our weekly key level at the 1.2500 area, we do want to be moving all our stop losses to secure the current sell position. And why is that? Remember what we said here yesterday. We talked about the potential of price action coming to retest the structure to incite an uptrend move. And if that is going to be in mind, we want to ensure that we secure all positions while we wait and see how the market participant will be reacting to that zone. Now, it depends on what happens here that will now determine what our next line of action will be. So if I'm going to give a visual representation of what I'm talking about here, if price gets into this area, we move our stop losses, secure the current positions while we wait and see what happens. And if buy pressure resumes around this area or a sharp rejection of the descending trend line, then we will be getting ready to join an uptrend continuation at this point. However, if instead price action continues to the downside, breaking down the structure, then I want to be looking out for a retest of structure to join the downward move here. So this is how we are going to be managing this trade right now. Personally, I do not have any position running, but for those who have a position running at this point, let's see if the market will break down that area or find buying pressure around that area to incite an uptrend continuation. So at this point in time, we still have a bullish bias in mind. Remember, price is still just right above our key level and of course above the descending trend line that was broken yesterday. So let's see what happens here. We are going to be very, very patient around this area. It's a crucial point, crucial moment in the market. So let's see what happens. And of course, if anything new happens, I will be giving you an update on what my expectations are and how we intend to capitalize on these opportunities. So these are my views here on the GBPUSD. If you do have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move right in to the next financial asset on our watch list. All right. So, in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here. So, we shall be moving right into the next financial asset on our watch list. And I do hope you marked out those levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions. All right, so the next asset on our watch list for today is my favorite, and that is the XAU popularly known as the gold spot. And unfortunately, on the gold spot, we it stop loss yesterday, as I bought above that area, and in fact, price triggered and went back down and dropped below that structure to give us a lost position to start the week. And of course, there's no cause for alarm, as price is just the week is just begin. The week is still very young, and I'm of the opinion that we still have quite a lot of opportunity to capitalize on during the course of the week. And the most important thing is that we have our risk management in place. Let's ensure that we always risk as minimal as possible. Risk whatever our emotions can handle. So right here on the XAUUSD, what was my commentary this morning as regards to how we are going to be managing this position? So I would like us to run through this together to see what I talked about here. For those who are with me on the TradingView and Telegram platform, would definitely have gotten an update in that regard. But for those who are not, let's run through this quickly and see what we are looking at today. So I said here this morning that stop loss hit as buyers and sellers engage in a 24 hours battle, resulting in a lower low. Nevertheless, the 1915 zone's resilience keeps the door open for potential buying opportunity. Chart indicators signal key levels to monitor today for trading opportunities, calling for patience in our trading approach. Now let's go back into the live chart. Now look at what we had here. What was our expectation yesterday? What did we see on this chart that made us consider buying this asset? Well, the first thing we observed here was that impulsive move that started around the $1,916.50 level, as we saw it culminate around the 1,930 area. And we saw what happened immediately price got into that zone. We saw selling pressure resume, and of course this is peculiar with what has been happening around the zone in the past. In fact, since the beginning of this month, we have continued to see selling pressure around that area to further emphasize the strength of the sellers around that level. And one of the things we said here yesterday is that if selling pressure resumes there, it could be a retracement of that impulsive move we saw there yesterday. In as much we said we looked out for, we used our Fibonacci retracement tool to identify a golden zone area, and it falls exactly around that $1,921.50 level, where we said we shall be looking out for buying opportunities like double bottom structures or buy pressure around that area to join the uptrend continuation, which of course failed at this point in time. Now there is a new structure we have on the chart right now that is gradually forming, though despite the fact that price still remains above our key level. We have a descending trend line after connecting the series of lower highs. So this trend line here shall be what we will be using today to guide our trading decisions. So as long as price remains below the descending trend line, we won't be considering buying these assets today. So, and one of the things I said here on my platform is that since price is respecting this level, I want to see price come back and probably retest the structure. If I beginning to see continued selling pressure around the descending trend line, which of course shares a confluence with the $1,921.50 level, then I want to be looking out for selling opportunities, while a further breakdown of the $1,916.50 level and the $1,915 area will be welcoming more selling opportunities in this market. So our center of focus today is going to be around the $1,921.50 area, which shares a confluence with that descending trend line. So depending on how price action reacts to this crucial confluence will determine what our next line of action will be for today. And in fact, I would like to delete this potential buy zone as it is no longer relevant considering the current market structure. So let me delete this one. All right, so now that is deleted. So we have a $1,921.50 level right within that range that we are going to be using to guide our decisions for today. So let's see how the market will play around this level today. And of course, if anything new happens, I will be giving you an update on what we are going to be doing. So let me do a quick recap on this one. So I want to see price come back into the structure where I will scale down to my lower time frame to see rejections, multiple rejections, selling pressure around that area. Most importantly, we want to see signs that buyers are finding it difficult to break out and stay above that descending trend line, after which we want to start considering selling. Then we could look out for more opportunities if price breaks down this zone right here. So that is how we are going to be looking out for selling opportunities today. However, in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities, you know how we do it in this community, we always want to keep tabs with the opposite direction as well. And if we consider what has been going on here since the midweek of last week's trading session, you will see how sellers have struggled anywhere around the 1,918 and the 1,915. And will this continue today? Will we see price break down the structure to incite a very strong bearish momentum? Well, we don't know unless it happens. But if price continues to remain above the zone, I'm still of the opinion that buyers are likely going to be pushing price to the upside. And for us to capitalize on an uptrend scenario here, I would like to see price take out the descending trend line, break out of the structure, and remember this trend line also shares a confluence with this $1,921.50 level. So I want to be seeing a breakout retest of that structure to capitalize on that move. So let me give a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So I want to see a breakout of structure, retest on our lower time frame, buy pressure above the structure before we can be joining a bullish momentum here. So you can see how the descending trend line and the $1,921.50 level becomes a crucial structure we are going to be using to guide our decisions for today. So we do want to be marking out these levels and trend line on our chart right now so that we can use them as a reference point. So if price remains below, we look out for selling opportunities, but if price breaks out of the structures, we begin to look out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of buying that asset. So we do want to be marking this out, and let's see what happens. And if anything new happens, I will definitely give you an update on both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So these are my views here on the XAUUSD. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move right into the next financial asset. All right. So in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here. So permit me to move right into the last financial asset on our watch list for today. So the last asset we are going to be looking at for today is the USD JPY. And we saw a bearish momentum here yesterday, which we took advantage of. Remember, we saw this move, and this was due to the hawkish comment made by Ueda yesterday. That was the Bank of Japan's governor, and it talked about how the Japanese is trying to abandon their monetary policy as regards to the negative interest rate by the end of this year. And as a result of that, we saw how market participants reacted, selling off their positions on the USD JPY, hereby resulting in this vertical bearish move to the downside. And of course, we made mention yesterday that we shall be looking out for more selling opportunities if price comes back to retest the structure. And we identified two levels where we said we shall be capitalizing on selling opportunities. We mentioned the 147.00 area, and then we also mentioned the 146.680 where we said we shall be looking out for selling opportunities. And in fact, if you are taking advantage of that opportunity, we saw price move about 70 pips on the first move and about 48 pips on the second position. And of course, if you had moved your stop losses accordingly, like I indicated in my commentaries yesterday on the USD JPY, you must have been taken out with a modest size of profit, or at a worst case scenario break even. Now in the last 24 hours, it is quite clear that we have higher highs and higher lows in this market. And in fact, I don't want to jump into conclusion that this could be an opportunity to start buying this asset this morning. And the reason why that is simply because of this impulsive bearish move we observe here. Now, following this impulsive bearish move, we expect that this bullish momentum here could be more or less a retracement of that impulsive move to incite a downtrend continuation. This is a very good possibility that could happen here. Hence, we want to be very, very mindful of this current position. And at the same time, you can see that this setup here also has a pattern in place looking more like a double bottom structure, where we shall be having the 147.00 area serving as the neckline of that reversal pattern. Now, how do we intend to capitalize on both buying and selling opportunities? What do we want to see on this chart that will make us buy, and what do we want to see on this chart that will make us consider selling this asset? Now, one of the things I want to look out for here is, first of all, to buy the USD JPY, I want to see price break out, retest the 147.00 area to give us a sign that buyers are going to be dictating the pace. Then if price continues to the upside, I want us to ensure that we move our stop losses accordingly to secure this position, as we are still within a territory where sellers could still push price to the downside. And considering the sensitivity of this zone here, considering the potential that the Bank of Japan could intervene at any point in time, and then of course this latest hawkish statement by the Bank of Japan's governor, we want to be very careful. So if price moves in our favor in that direction, let's all be on standby to move our stop losses accordingly to secure the position while we wait and see how the market reacts to this area. So I will be looking out for buying opportunities above the 147, and of course price will still remain above this newly identified ascending trend line that I spotted here. So this trend line here is going to be a major yardstick that will be guiding our decisions for today. And if price remains above that trend line, we shall look out for patterns and structures that supports the idea of buying this asset. But if at any point in time today price action breaks down this ascending trend line, as you will see, it also lines up with this 146.680, then we shall be getting ready to join the downtrend continuation. In fact, if that happens, we scale down into our lower time frame to look out for retest of structure and signs that buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above that ascending trend line. Then we can join that bearish move to the downside and look out for more selling opportunities if price action goes on to break down the 146.00 area. So it's a simple setup we have here on the USD JPY. So we do want to be marking out this level, and let's see how the market will be reacting to this current structure. So these are my views here on the USD JPY for today. So let's see how the market will play out, and if there is anything interesting or new that evolves on this chart, I will definitely give you an update in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So this is what I have here for today, and I don't know if you have any questions as regards to the current setup. If you do, please feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds as usual to see if you have questions before we round off for today. All right. Okay, in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we're on the same page. So I dropped the link to the XAUSD live monitoring window right in the comment box below. You want to click them and be part of the live session, get notified whenever we come online. So it has been a wonderful moment out here, and I'm sorry for coming in very late this morning. and I was glad. I'm glad that at least we were able to finish the session without any issues as regards to the internet. Though the internet reception has been fluctuating ever since, but I'm glad we closed in on a positive note. So let's see how today is going to be. And of course, I will be with you in the comment section of both my trading view and telegram platform to give you updates on what my expectations are. Please don't forget to click on the like button. Please kindly support this project. If you have found this content helpful and useful, please support the project by clicking the like button. The cheapest way you can support this channel or this project is by clicking on the like button, and thank you very, very much for doing so. So it's on this note, I wish you best of luck today, and I look forward to seeing you during the XAU as a live monitoring window as we come here to monitor real-time price action on that asset. So on that note, I wish you best of luck, and do I see your comment, Umbuso Sierra? Good morning to you, and glad to have you around. And so let's see again in the comment section, and I wish you best of luck. Cheers. Bye bye.